Omer Ranger 004 Productions have proudly presented fan-edited clips for years. This is my new channel Comics by Omar Anger 004 since the finale of Flacken and the Winter Soldier is coming this Friday. I decided to make a video on everyone who's carried the shield from Steve Rogers to John Walker, and Isaiah Bradley. Others. These are the many marvelous heroes who've been called Captain America. The one, the only, the original Captain America. Anyone watching this likely already knows exactly who he is and how his story unfolds. Too small and weak to join the army, Steve Rogers joined the Super Soldier program in order to serve his country during World War II. Injected with Dr. Erskine's famous serum, the scrawny boy was suddenly transformed into the absolute peak of human ability. Steve joined the war against the Nazis, often battling the Red Skull and Hydra in the comics. Near the war's end, however, Steve was plunged into the Arctic Sea while stopping a bombing run, but the super soldier serum kept him alive, causing him to spend decades frozen beneath the ice. Years later, Steve was eventually found and reanimated in 1963's Avengers No. 4, joining the newly formed team in their efforts to protect a world he no longer recognized. The second person to become Captain America wasn't replacing Steve Rogers, but was rather the tragic victim of a horrific attempt to reformulate the lost super soldier serum. Truth. Red, White and Black, a 7-issue series published in 2003, explores the United States government's attempt to try to reconstruct the serum through trial and error at the cost of human lives. In an unsettling reference to the horrific Tuskegee experiments, the United States launched a program to experiment on 300 African American soldiers in order to slowly reconstruct the lost super soldier serum. When all was said and done, only 5 had survived and were successfully enhanced. Of those 5, only Isaiah Bradley lasted long enough to be sent on a suicide mission to destroy the Nazi equivalent of the super soldier program. Isaiah stole a Captain America uniform and shield meant for Steve Rogers and successfully completed the mission, but was arrested, imprisoned, and experimented on once again upon his return to the States. Pledge allegiance to that, my brother. Played by Carl Lumbly in the Falcon and the Winter Soldier show, many fans met Isaiah for the first time when Bucky and Sam tracked him down in Baltimore in the show's second episode. Audiences also met his grandson Elijah, who in the comics became the superhero known as Patriot, after a blood transfusion from his grandfather made him a super soldier. The origin of Captain America involved some discrepancies that were only cleared up through the invention of William Burnside, a most unusual take on the Captain America character. We all now agree that Steve Rogers went into the ice in 1945. But the character, and Bucky Barnes, still appeared in several adventures during an attempted revival in the 1950s. These stories were more or less ignored until writer Steve Englehart figured out a complicated way to make them canonical. Writer Steve Englehart introduced the idea that the 1950s Captain America was yet another attempt to recreate the serum and create a new patriotic super soldier. In 1972's Captain America No. 153, fans met historian William Burnside, who was obsessed with Rogers and discovered a copy of Erskine's secret formula, offering to give it to the U.S. government if they allowed him to fight in the Korean War as the new Captain America. The government agreed, and so Burnside changed his name, face, and voice to exactly match Steve Rogers. But before the serum could be administered, the Korean War ended and the United States lost interest entirely. Undeterred, this new Steve Rogers took the formula anyway and soon defeated a communist Red Skull. The formula was flawed however, and though it gave him greater strength than his idol, it also affected his mind, causing him to lose his sanity. The U.S. put Burnside in stasis until a cure could be found, and he was eventually released from his ageless prison in present day, where he fought the real Steve Rogers for the mantle of Captain America. Over time, Steve Rogers grew disillusioned with increasing corruption in the United States government and denounced his former mantle and shield, becoming a new hero known as Nomad. Instead, during this time, 3 different men all tried and failed to take up the mantle in his stead. In 1974's Captain America number 178, star baseball player Robert Russo tried first but quickly gave up after misjudging a swing over a wall and breaking his arm. In the next issue, street tough Scar Turpin gave it a shot, and after receiving an extensive beating while trying to stop a mugging, he never tried again. Neither men were trusted with Steve Rogers' indestructible shield. The final replacement was a man named Roscoe Simons. After the 2 previous failures, Roscoe decided to try, proving himself capable enough in battle to be trusted with Rogers' actual shield. He even began training for the role under the tutelage of Sam Wilson, the Falcon. His heroics were ultimately short-lived, however. In his first encounter with the Red Skull in Captain America number 183, the villain immediately knew Roscoe was not the true Captain America and killed him, prompting Steve to once again step forward. When Steve Rogers retired as Captain America yet again, a new, much more successful replacement was chosen to take on the mantle in 1987's Captain America number 333. U.S. Army veteran John Walker was just a normal man before he was given powers equivalent to the super soldier serum by the power broker. Though initially operating as Super Patriot, he welcomed the opportunity to become the new Captain America and filled the role with gusto. Handed Cap's nigh indestructible shield, Walker was by far the most physically capable and successful replacement up to this point, but his hardline stances and merciless execution of his interpretation of the law made him a far darker Captain America than Steve had ever been. After he viciously tortured and murdered a group of criminals who had killed his parents, Steve decided that Walker was too unstable to keep the role any longer and stripped him of the shield and title in 1989's Captain America number 351. Of course, John Walker joined the Falcon and Winter Soldier as the Marvel Cinematic Universe's first replacement Captain America, with a storyline that followed the bleak, broad strokes of his comic book counterpart's story. When Steve Rogers was assassinated in 2007's Captain America number 25 at the end of the comic book version of Civil War, Tony Stark tried desperately to find someone who could fill the void Steve left behind. In the 3rd issue of Fallen Sun, The Death of Captain America, Tony revealed that his first choice was none other than Clint Barton, the heroic marksman better known as Hawkeye. Though a seemingly odd choice at first glance, Iron Man eventually revealed that he chose Clint because he was one of the only other people on the planet who could actually handle Cap's indestructible shield. Though reluctant at first, Clint went out for one mission as the new Captain America in honor of Steve's memory, but even though he performed perfectly and handled the shield with ease, that was the last time he ever did so. Iron Man had sent Barton on a mission to capture other heroes from Steve's side of the Civil War, and once Barton realized this, he immediately turned on Iron Man, and turned the mantle of Captain America down. Tony eventually found Steve's replacement in the last place he wanted to look: Captain America's original partner, Bucky Barnes, the Winter Soldier. Made famous by the movie of the same name, Bucky's journey from World War II sidekick to secret Russian super assassin is well established. In the movies and comics both, Steve helped him reject his brainwashing and recapture his inner heroism. After Steve's death, Bucky had no desire to become the new Captain America, but after the increased insistence of many of his closest friends and allies, he finally took up the mantle in Captain America number 34. Bucky initially used a gun, but eventually grew comfortable enough with the shield and identity to fight evil without it. When Steve Rogers eventually returned to life a few years later, Bucky gave his old friend back the shield and then adopted the identity of the Winter Soldier once again. A social worker in New York, Sam Wilson, aka the Falcon, befriended Steve after he was freed from the ice and eventually became his partner in crime fighting, starting with 1969's Captain America number 117. Sam remained Steve's staunch ally for years and became so popular that Captain America's solo comic book series was renamed Captain America and the Falcon with issue number 134. Sam eventually joined the Avengers and fought alongside his friend all over the world. Later, Steve Rogers was stripped of the super soldier serum that gave him his strength in 2014's Captain America number 21 and subsequently transformed into the scrawny weakling he had been in his youth. Rogers asked Sam Wilson to take up the Captain America mantle in his stead, and though reluctant at first, he ultimately accepted, becoming the all-new Captain America in issue number 25. Adopting a costume that kept the wings of his Falcon days, Sam took to the skies to use his shield to battle evil and injustice across the country. When Steve Rogers was seemingly returned to normal, he insisted that Sam Wilson keep the shield, and the two both remained Captain America at the same time. In 2016's Captain America, Steve Rogers number 1, however, Rogers was revealed to be a secret agent for none other than Hydra, the very evil that he had fought for almost his entire life. This sinister Steve schemed for months, manipulating Sam until he was so disillusioned that he gave up being Captain America on his own. When he was finally ready, Steve led Hydra to victory and conquered the entire country in the event known as Secret Empire. Thankfully, his time in power proved short-lived. Sam Wilson, upon realizing what Steve had become, joined the underground resistance, took back the shield, and became Captain America. Once again, the heroes eventually discovered that Hydra's Steve was from an alternate timeline and managed to recover the true Steve Rogers once and for all, who defeated the Hydra imposter. After the dust settled, Sam Wilson retired from the role of Captain America for good, returning the shield to the real Steve so that he could begin regaining the nation's trust. Though many heroes from Marvel Comics' vast catalog of characters have donned the shield and mantle of Captain America, the most unexpected person to do so didn't belong to Marvel at all, because it was Superman. In 1996, DC and Marvel Comics agreed to one of their rare, official crossover events in a series titled Marvel vs. DC. The miniseries was predicated on the gimmick that fans would vote to decide various matchups, essentially determining the plotlines. The series eventually saw the two companies' heroes temporarily merged into an amalgam universe in Marvel vs. DC number 3. The universe featured superhero mashups like the combination of Doctor Strange and Dr. Fate, Doctor Strange Fate, the Batman and Wolverine hybrid Dark Claw, and the Superman and Captain America combo known as Super Soldier. Still named Clark Kent, Super Soldier gained the powers of Superman in the 1940s when he received a Super Soldier serum developed from the cells of a deceased alien corpse. With his newfound strength, Super Soldier took the fight to the Nazis and frequently battled with Lex Luthor, the leader of Hydra. Before he became trapped in ice, Steve Rogers was in love with a woman named Peggy Carter, played on screen in the MCU by Hayley Atwell. A British secret agent, she was involved in the Allies' super soldier program alongside Dr. Erskine and worked with Steve in Europe. Once he became Captain America. When Steve woke up in the modern world, however, he found that Peggy was now an old woman and their romance was one of the many casualties of his lost decades. In one alternate reality, however, things didn't follow the same blueprint. 2018's Exiles. Number 3 revealed a new reality titled Earth 86315 where the assassin that killed Dr. Erskine also killed Steve Rogers before he could take the serum. Encouraged by Howard Stark, Peggy Carter took the super soldier serum and became Captain America herself. Combined with excellent combat and espionage skills from her time as a spy, her new superhuman abilities were put to devastating use against the Axis powers. Stephen Rogers, one of the most bizarre alternate Captain Americas, was created by Jack Kirby. For 1976's Captain America number 194 and Captain America's Bicentennial Battles number 1. Stephen Rogers was a captain in the American Revolutionary War who disguised himself in an outfit decorated like Betsy Ross's new flag. He fought alongside General George Washington until he was struck by a cannonball and finally killed in one of the final battles of the war. Though some referred to him as Captain America, his descendant Steve Rogers would eventually become the first individual to truly carry the title during World War II. Though the gargantuan coincidences needed to create this story stretch the suspension of disbelief to the breaking point, it's still a fun story that essentially functions as a what if, where Steve became Cap a century and a half before he traditionally does. By far the most recent addition to this list is Aaron Fisher, the Captain America of the Railways. Set to debut on June 2021 in United States of Captain America number 1 by writer Christopher Cantwell and artist Dale Eaglesham, Aaron will be the first openly gay Captain America. The series' story will follow John Walker, Steve Rogers, Bucky Barnes, and Sam Wilson as they seek Steve's missing shield. During their search, they will apparently come across different characters who have been impacted by the symbol of Captain America, one of whom will be Aaron Fisher. Promotional materials show Aaron wielding a homemade approximation of Cap's costume along with a trash can lid painted like his famous shield. Although he does not possess any of the superhuman abilities of his idol, Aaron will be a force for good who helps runaways and homeless youth along the city's many railway lines. Check out one of our newest videos right here. Plus, even more videos about your favorite superheroes are coming soon. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell so you don't miss a single one.